All right. Welcome. Welcome to your practice. So we start by finding a comfortable posture to check in, tune in, some kind of seated posture. Become aware of your spine. And today we're gonna think about keeping everything kind of working together. So in our postures, it's like your whole body is in a woven network. It's called the myofascia. So everything is interconnected, interwoven. And so even in this opening posture, when one part of the myofascia collapses, the other parts kind of it like twists almost inside to like help keep you upright. And so what we want to do is you want to feel like you're almost like you're floating, and there's this buoyancy that sends you upwards, and there's this rootedness that sends you downwards. So you can feel this buoyancy that sends you upwards and a rootedness that sends you downwards. And this sort of like opens up this soft structure of your embodiment, how your muscles and bones are woven together, interconnected. And there's even this push outward. So when you take a deep inhale, you can feel the stretch of the side ribs. Try to feel that the arms, the underarms even open a little bit. So you're getting more spaciousness under your armpit. This will help our stretching. This will help our strengthening because the body works together. We've got this energy that feels like it's rising upward. You've got this energy that feels like it's rooting downward. And then you've got this inner sort of expansive quality that broadens across your heart and your ribs. Try to just feel that as you sit here, like you were floating in space, taking up the exact amount of space that your body asked to take up, to feel at ease, to feel open. Looks good. Couple more. Just breathe into that. Breathe into that rising, rooting, and that broadening. Good. From here now, even stretch your arms out a little. Just lift them up in the air. Don't stretch out too far. Just float them in the air and do the same thing. You're going to rise, you're going to root, and you're going to broaden. And you sort of stretch out across your arms. Feeling bigger inside, you can start to extend them out like a V. That's it as you breathe. And make the left side a little longer. So you're like leaning over a little bit. Now let's go make the right side a little longer. Good, let's come back down. Now just open your throat, but have it feel connected to your whole form. You're gonna open your throat. I'm also gonna open my arms because it just makes it easier to open my throat. I'm gonna take my shoulders back because it makes it easier to open my throat. Things are working together. I'm pushing back through my hips because it makes it easier to open my throat. Good, relax it down. Just hang for a second. Drop your chest down, fill in your back ribs, and let your shoulders and head hang. Let's go reverse it again. You're gonna open your throat and see how much else of your body can work to help open your throat. Everything works together. Breathe open. I even push my hips back to help open my throat. And relax it down. Fabulous. You take your left hand, and we're going to push it like we're blocking sunlight, which I am actually doing, like you're blocking sunlight. And you're just going to push out. And as you push out, you're going to also let the body move away. So you're opening the side line of here, opening up the side ribs. And now breathe into it. Good. Let's come back to center. Let's switch sides. You're going to take the right hand, turn it away from you. You're going to push away. So you open up this whole top of the right arm and the side body. Whole thing works together. Good. Come back to center. Stretch your arms back behind you like you're a downhill skier or a skydiver or something like that. I don't know if skydivers or downhill skiers do this, but we can see, we can imagine, we can dream big. So stretch the arms back behind us, squeeze your shoulder blades. Good, lean forward. Take a breath. Now squeeze the muscles of your back. We want all the muscles of the back to sort of join into the spine, like a woven lattice, a woven network of stability. Good. Start to come back upright. You're going to come back upright and swoop your arms out in front. Still connected, opening the front body now, not just the throat. And good. We're going to twist. You're going to take your arms out. Let's keep this wide reach today as we twist our spine. You'll twist to your right. Good. Open the arms back up and let's twist the other way. Good. Back to center. I'm going to stretch my neck here a little bit. Put your left hand on your skull and let the head fall. And then just listen. Listen to how, does the head want to come a little forward, a little back, perfectly to the side? Just sort of feel that interconnectedness. I'm going to use my right arm even to help open that neck. Keep inner buoyancy. Good. Let's come back to center. Let's change sides. Hand over the head. And just, again, this time might be different. Listen to how that woven network is connecting muscle and bone. Try to open that side in a harmonious way. This side feels very different to my body. In order to get that connected stretch and make the shape look a little different. Good. Back to center. Excellent. Let's come to hands and knees. And today you're actually going to take a wider and a little longer stance. So it's more like a, if you remember geometry class, a trapezoid. It's more like a trapezoid than a box in our tabletop position. Okay, more like a trapezoid, longer and wider. Longer and wider. And just take a moment, swing your ribs to one side. Swing your ribs to the other side. Breathe the whole while. Let's just go back and forth 2 more times. Trying to feel that woven connection at your knees, your ankles, your fingertips. They are feeling this rib movement. It's all connected, all joined as one. Good. Now really kind of drop into your spine here. Hang your spine. Lift your tail. So it's just one hammock-like structure. A hammock is woven fibers, like a net that we suspend. Let your whole torso feel like a hammock structure. Push back into your hips, but keep your hammock. Rock forward into your shoulders, but keep your hammock. Let's just do that 2 more times. You're going to rock back into your hips, but keep your hammock. And you're going to rock forward into your shoulders and keep the hammock. And notice, is it integrated? Are your arms and legs connected to the movement? Good. Really arch the spine. You're going to tuck your toes. You're going to lift your knee up. We haven't done this in years. Crouching cat pose. You're not rounding your back. You're actually keeping that hammock-like feeling in the down dog. So you'll keep your knees bent. Breathe here. And turn your knees and your belly to the right. Turn your knees and belly to the left. Good. Back to center. Just pedal out your feet for a second. Stretch through the leg joint. You can feel a difference when you're stretching in the leg joint versus the myofascia. Good. Come down to kneeling, come down to your belly. Inhale, when you lift up, you're going to lift up through your whole back body. Back of the feet, back of the legs, back of the shoulders. You can hover the hands, and let's release that down. We're going to pulse that a few more times. All the muscles of your back body, back of the feet, back of the legs, shoulders, back of the arms, back of the neck, and release it. One woven, interconnected web. Inhale, float it up. Exhale, release it down. Last round, float it up. Exhale, release it down. Good, now just imagine you're kind of like learning how to swim. Stretch your left arm forward, reach it like you're swimming, and then come back. And let's do that with the right arm. You're gonna roll to the side, move that whole shoulder joint. In order to have this interconnected web, you have to be sensitive in the fingertips the whole time. There's like a gentle tone of movement. Let's just work our joint. We're gonna roll to the side, and it's like you're reaching or climbing or swimming. You're reaching out in front, and then back. 2 more times each side. Roll and stretch. Thinking about things like swimming or this idea of gliding or flying, they really help this idea of an interconnected web. Inhale, push your knees down, lift on up like a mermaid. This is exactly how mermaids behave. I've seen them. Exhale, back, downward dog. Good. Come on down to kneeling. As you come down to kneeling, lift your left knee up. Lift your left knee up and turn your left foot out. And you're going to sit back in your hips. Breathe here as you sit back in your hips. Good. Back to center. Open up the right knee, turning the right foot out and sit back in your hips. Keep that interconnected web, not one specific joint, but all the joints, all the muscle tissue works together in the pose. Back to center. Let's bring up that first knee. Just turn that left knee out to the side, sit it back, and back to center. One more time. First side again. Sorry, second side again. Right knee up, turn it out, sit it back. It should feel good to open up the hips this way. Take a little half squat. Back to center. Now you're going to take that left leg up in the air. Lift that knee up in the air. And you're going to lift it up and back behind you. If you can, you're going to actually touch it to the floor behind you and open and roll up. Let's stretch our left arm to the sky. Good. Let's roll it back down. Easy, gentle movements. Open up that right knee. Pull it back behind you, maybe drop it behind you, and then roll the right side open. Back to center. Let's do that each side one more time. Lift up left knee, out, over, and behind you. Maybe land the foot and keep lifting that front arm as well. Back to center. Lift up the right knee, up, back, and over, and roll it open. Back to center. Good. Let's come to a standing forward fold. Standing forward fold. Close your eyes a moment and really get sensitive to your feet. My teacher used to say, like, if you could master your hand, or if you could master your foot, you'd master the whole body. So if you're going to be really present for your whole foot, like your whole foot is awake in the mat, the arch, the pads, the ankle, you actually tone and engage, you become aware of your whole body when you become aware of the whole foot. Because it's woven, it's interconnected. Really press down through your feet. Stay rooted and inhale, rise up. Keep connection with your feet to the ground. Open your heart back. Good. Exhale, hands down on the knees. Push your pelvis back. We're gonna do some standing cat-cow. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, drop your chest. Let's go back and forth. Try to stay connected. Keep your foot fully immersed, fully engaged. Lift the chest. Exhale, sink the chest. Noticing how the feet shift in this gentle movement. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, sink the chest. Are you staying aware of the foot? Inhale, chest. Exhale, chest. Good. Come back up. Let's swim. This time backstroke. So the left hand's gonna lead with the pinky edge. Internal rotation. Lead with the pinky edge. Rotate your ribs and spine as you backstroke it back like you're painting. Try to listen to the joint. Now, rotate the inner right hand, palm away, backstroke, up and back. Let your hips, knees, and ankles feel that rotation. Left arm up, back and around. Make it a full body movement, even though we're just talking about the pinky and the shoulder. A couple more times, just gently backstroking. Trying to feel this interconnected web of tissue called myofascia. Good, now take both hands, join them together, and point your fingers out in front. Then point them up on a 45-degree angle. Good, as you reach out with your fingertips, pull your pelvis down. This is that rooting and rising. Your arms and fingertips rise, and your pelvis roots down. Feel the foot rooting down. It's like a chair pose now. Start to sit into it. As you root your pelvis, push your pelvis down through your thighs, your calves, your arch of your foot. Inhale, extend your leg, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's try to feel that interconnected movement again. Dive the hands down and then send them forward. Send them up 45 degrees. And it's this rising sensation in your arms and crown. Then create a rooting sensation in your pelvis, down and back, through the legs, through the arch. Breathe here. No tension in the muscles because everything's so interconnected and supporting itself. Inhale, rise it up, extend your spine, and hands to your heart. Let's do one more round of that. Point the fingers down and swoop them nice and slow. Rise with the arms and the crown. Root with the legs and the hips into the arch of the foot. Sink. It's like a chair pose. That's really what's happening. It's a integrated feeling of chair pose. Good. Extend and bow forward, forward bend. Good. Walk it back. Just step your right foot way back and push back into that leg. And then step that right leg forward. Now let's push our left foot way back and push into that leg. And then walk it forward. Let's do that one more time. You're going to step the first leg, the right leg back, and rock into it. Sink into that straight leg. And it's just like warrior one leg, basically. Now step that left one back again. Getting the whole body warmed up. Good. Both legs back. Crouching cat or downward dog. Good. Come down onto your left shin. Just plant your left shin in front of you. Keep your right leg straight. So just look up carefully if you're not certain. It's almost like pigeon pose, except the foot doesn't turn in. You just land your left shin parallel with the long edge of the mat. So it's kind of, yeah, you got it. Now just look up and keep your back leg straight, your back knee lifted. Good, you got it. And let's step it back. Okay, you're gonna step now your right shin, land on your right shin, parallel with the long edge of your mat. Back leg is straight, open your front. Good, let's step it back. First side again, plant the shin, and then rise your spine and shoulders up and back. Good, step it back. First side again with that right shin. It's not the first side, it's the second side. Made that mistake twice today. I'm just so in the flow of my interconnectedness. Good, step it back. Take your knees out nice and wide and sit your hips back, child's pose. Breathe. Even as you rest, keep this full body awareness. It's called the myofascia. It's this webbing, this woven lattice of interconnectedness of muscle and bone. It actually weaves around your organs as well. Try to feel it. Feel every part of the body interconnected as you slowly slither or drop forward into lying on your belly. Sphinx posture. You're going to put your forearms down, open the front, and try to feel that the muscles of the back are integrated. The muscles of the back are integrated. You have to listen to your own body. That no part of the spine really bends more than the other parts of the spine. The whole body does the pose. Good. Go ahead, bend your left knee so your left foot's in the air. You can turn your right arm in a little bit and now reach back and hold the left foot. You don't have to pull very much, just turn now. Turn your whole body to the right to help open that left hip, lengthening that left hip. Reaching back through the left knee as you turn your heart away from it. That they're working together to open the pose. Very nice. Let's release that leg. You don't have to be extreme when you do postures like this because the joints stay so happy that they're working together. Let's put the left forearm down. Reach back, hold the right foot. The joints stay happy, so you can actually go fairly deep with less effort because your muscles are like, oh, good. They're paying attention. We don't have to protect the joints for you. This myofascia is integrated. Turning the body away as you reach the knee back. Full body awareness. Good. Relax it back. Awesome. Push up kneeling pose. Kneeling pose. So your hips are above your knees. Hands on your hips, please. Let's do a deep breath. 2 more. Last one. Good. Shift into your right shin and go ahead, step your left foot forward, nice and wide and long today. If you've got a block, they can be really helpful. You put the blocks down inside the front leg. Good. Now just take a moment, keep your chest broad. Let's see if we can widen that knee and foot a little more. Push your groins back. Good. If you're ready, you're going to plant your hands, plant your front foot, and now lift your back knee off the ground. Lift your back knee off the ground. That's it. You're pushing back through your hips, pushing back through your inner thighs. Yeah, you might want to turn. See how I've turned out on the diagonal a little bit? Like the front of my mat is that way. And I've turned myself almost 45 degrees. It's just going to give me a little more access to engage my whole body. Now bend your back knee and sort of straighten your front. And then bend your front knee and sort of straighten your back. And just listen to your body. Stay spacious and open the hips this way. It's kind of using all your joints as one. Good. Drop that back knee down. Let's recover to the center. Walk your blocks over the other way. Let's come up for a moment. A little hip circles, kind of just check out if your hips feel open. Good. You just kneel for a second. You can check and see, where are you not engaged? Where is there not presence? For me, my legs get a little sleepy because my knees are on the ground. So what you can do is you can tuck your toes to keep that connectedness in your shins. And I think just in my general posture, I sometimes collapse in my front low ribs. So I just open that up. I stretch into it and bolster it, right? We want buoyancy. We rise, we root, and we broaden. So I just do that in that area that feels a little dim. You might have your own area where you find yourself sleeping, compressing, contracting. You just open it. All right, let's go to our second side. Try to stay universal in your body's awareness. So we're in the nice wide, low lunge. And we go back and forth a little bit, feeling our hips. Noticing where the body can get dim. If you're up to it, you straighten your back leg, lift the back knee, and you do the same thing. Then you back and forth. One knee straightens while one knee bends. Listening to your hip joints. Keeping your feet nice and active and engaged. Good. Now from here, you're just going to step your back foot forward. So you're in a wide forward fold, as wide as your yoga mat. The narrow length of your yoga mat. And just stretch your legs. You might be able to straighten them now. Full forward fold. Maybe do a flat back version. But even if you do straight legs, there's still interconnectedness. There's still awareness from your foot all the way through the lattice of your body into your hands. Good. Keep that connectedness. Use the feet to lift your body up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Interconnectedness. Good. Go ahead, step your left foot in front, your right foot back. A little shorter than usual today, but wider. Wider. Let's bend both knees at the same time. So your right foot is 90 degrees to your left foot. And bend both knees at the same time. Good. And as you bend your knee, you're going to take your left hand, you're going to reach it forward, up, and back. Bend your knees. Good. Come all the way out of that pose. We're going to do it 2 more times. You're going to take your left hand, you're going to go forward, up, and back, and bend both knees. Good. Come out of that posture. We're going to do it again. Here we go. You're going to take your left hand, you're going to go forward, up, and back. Bend both knees. And come out of it. Let's do that one more time. Left hand forward, up, and back. Bend both knees. Good. Sit deep into this one. Full extension of your pose. Excellent. Come out of that shape. Let's go to the other side. So a little bit shorter than our usual standing poses. 90 degrees with the feet. Engage your feet. Okay, just kind of use your joints for a second. Does it feel connected? Does it feel athletic? Right? Does it feel athletic? Okay, here we go. We're going to take our right hand. We're going to go forward, up, and back. Bend both knees as you do that. And come out of your pose. Here we go. Forward, up, and back. Bend both knees. Good. Put the breathing into it. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Bend both knees. Come out of the pose. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Sit deeply into the stretch, the full expression of that shape, and step out of your pose. Very good. Just check in with your joints. They should feel pretty open. They should feel pretty open. There should be a warmth, a circulation of blood there, a pace to that movement. All right. Let's do that again. Let's put the right leg back a little longer. Let's do our triangle pose today. Plant down through your feet. Plant down through your feet. The legs are straight now. The legs are straight. And we're going to focus on really pushing straight through our knee joint, right? The knee wants to sometimes go back when we're not engaged. It wants to hyperextend. And you're going to focus today on pushing from your belly, from your pelvis, straight through your knee into your feet. And as you do that, tilt into your triangle pose. Good, and whatever your bottom hand, that's going to be your left hand, whatever it touches, it should touch with the lightest awareness. There's no collapsing. So the lattice of muscle on your left side is engaged. And let's open up our top arm, triangle pose. Not losing connectivity. Full body awareness. Now feel those energies rise. Feel the energies root. Feel the energy broaden. And be in that flow. Good. Come out of that pose. Step out of it. You should get a good stretch, a deep expression of the pose, but nothing's being isolated. Nothing's being burdened more than the other parts of the body. A little longer stance, back to our normal triangle stance. We're going to keep our legs straight, but we want to be very mindful because the knees are a great place where we break that harmony, we break that interconnectedness. You're going to push from your pelvis down straight through the knee joint into the feet. Into the feet. And that bottom hand can touch something, but it doesn't need to. On some level, it's almost better to not touch anything with it or just lightly touch, so it doesn't lose the interconnectivity on your right edge. Left arm up. We've got our basic shape. Here we go. Rising feeling. Inhale. Rooting feeling. Inhale. Broadening. Be in the shape. Inhale, come back up. Step out of your pose. So you're feeling that the body should be open, but it's not like, oh, I had a deep hamstring stretch. It's the opposite. Your whole network opened together. Now what you'll do is you turn your feet out 45 degrees and go wide on your mat like our horse stance. I know you all love horse stance. We practice it so frequently, 45 degrees. And so you bend your knees. When you bend, your whole pelvis pushes down into your feet. That's the rooting. Just rock side to side a second. Make sure no joint is overworking. Good, let's come all the way out of that pose. Straighten the legs. Pull your elbows and pull your shoulders back. Try to tone your muscle of your back into your spine. And as you tone the muscle of your back into your spine, root. Good. Now keep toning your back, but broaden your heart, broaden your chest, and broaden your fingers. Feel how the stretch opens across the midline, midplane. Good. Come out of the pose. Whew, excellent job. Relax it a second. Let's do that again. Okay. So you tone the muscles of your back body. Bend your knees. Push that rooting sensation down through the pelvis into the feet. Draw in. Here we go. This time you're going to broaden and you're going to rise. Keep the legs rooting. Keep the legs rooting. Inhale, broaden and reach out through your forehead. Reach out through your crown. Like your whole body was open, bright, illuminated. Where is the dimness? For me, it was the front of my throat. That's where I could add consciousness. And relax. Very good. Go ahead and shorten the stance again. See if you can bring the legs closer together. You might not get to touching, but you can work towards touching, working towards getting the legs close together. You're squeezing inward here. If your legs don't touch, I invite you to, in a way that's comfortable, right? Because sometimes we can get our legs to touch, but we lose that connectivity. You would go ahead and grab yourself a block. Just put that block maybe on a thin setting in between the knees and or the ankles. So we're going to squeeze the midline with our legs, or squeeze that block with our legs. As you squeeze the midline with the legs, you're going to squeeze the arms against your sides. So we've been rising and we've been rooting. And this squeezing is another way to do that. As you squeeze in, root. And as you squeeze in, rise. So even though you're squeezing in, you'll actually feel the chest broaden and the ribs broaden. This is our mountain pose today. Full body connection. Good. Now from here, keep this engaged awareness and just slide your right toes back so the toes touching the ground. Maybe about 3 feet or so, 2.5 feet. And now reach out and think of your fingertips and your right toes as one thing. And one's rooting, one's rising. You can think of them as broadening. You're broadening your toe, you're broadening your fingertips into a triangle shape. Good. Root that standing leg. Rise your crown. Broaden the back of your wings. And come out of the pose. Wow. That's some of the best balancing I've ever seen from y'all. Beautiful job. Great awareness. Let's start from scratch then. That was a winning recipe. You're going to squeeze in. Squeeze in. Legs squeeze in, arms squeeze in. You got to create that feeling of rooting and rising, which will naturally create a broadening in the heart and ribs, a buoyancy. Once you have that full body awareness, you'll drag that left toe back, keep it on the ground, as far back as it goes, where it's still touching, you're still buoyant. For me, I want to collapse in my low belly here. I want to round. Got to keep that inner buoyancy. And now, as one, my toe and my fingertips stretch out. They root and they rise and they broaden into my pose. One. Good. When you start to lose the awareness, it's the mental often That closes down. Great job. Bring it back up. Stay aware. Stay with it. And relax. Really nice. Really nice. Okay, we're going to come down to our mats for a second. Just brief. It's going to be easier to feel it actually on our backs. I know this is so out of place from a sequencing perspective, but from a learning perspective of our alignment, we're going to lay on our backs, and we're going to grab our left knee with our right hand. We want to open up that outer leg, keep that connected. And so I'm going to keep my right knee bent. It's your right knee, actually, foot's flat on the floor. And you're holding your left knee in the opposite hand. You're going to pull your left knee across the right side. Now use your left elbow to brace, to keep interconnectedness. Even as you twist, it's connected. The legs, the arms. And that's how we open our spine in the twist. And we open our outer thigh. Really back to center. Push down with your right elbow and pull your right leg across with the left arm. You don't have to go as deep, but you stay interconnected in your twist. And back to center. One more time. Let's do that first side again. Tone your back muscles. Tone your shoulder blades in. We want to open the outer hip. So we pull the knee across the body to open the outer hip. So the IT band area stays interconnected to our whole structure. Then back to center. Let's do that second side. So we can feel that relationship there. Good. Core work. Bring both feet to the ground. Lift your forehead up like you're staring through your kneecaps, through your knee joints. Use your feet. Your feet are connected to the earth. You curl your forehead up to stare through your knee joints. Good. Lift the feet off the ground. Stretch the legs out a little bit. Are they connected? Roll up to seated. Cross your legs. Let's take a deep breath here. Open your spine. Go ahead and rock forward. Tabletop pose again. Tabletop pose again. Nice and wide with your knees. And now carefully, take your left knee over to meet your right knee. And now tuck your toes so you can have your feet engaged. You're going to start to lean your left hip. Stay connected. Use your whole body to open that outer hip. Good. This is one of the hardest areas to connect to our woven structure. So open the knees again, and then bring the right knee over to the left knee. And then we open into that side stretch. I think like a mogul skier would make this shape. Want to lengthen that, but still keep it connected to the whole body, even your fingertips. Yeah, you got it. Good. Back to center. Come up to standing. Good work. Now you got a feel for that one. Put your right foot back, left foot in front. Good. Perch your left elbow on your thigh or knee. Make sure you can bend your back leg if you needed to. That's how you figure out your alignment. Good. Drop your right hand out like you're reaching for something off the right corner of your mat. Good. Now we're going to draw a big circle, stretch out, keep connected. As you stretch out, push down through your feet. We're rooting and rising, and then bring it back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Root your legs, rise your chest, your gaze, and your arm, and then bring it back down. Last round. Root, and then rise and broaden. Breathe. And they'll stay in the fullest expression, the brightest version of your side angle pose. Just be there. Good. Drop that hand back down to the earth. Go wide with it. And turn the other arm up. Bend into the front knee. Good. Bend into the back knee by straightening the front leg. Bend in the front knee, lift your left arm up. Bend in the back leg. And step out of your pose. Good work. Come out of it. Make sure nothing got tweaky. Sometimes those kind of movements, we can lose that interconnectivity. So just check in. If anything feels strained or overworked, because we got into the muscle and we stepped out of that myofascia. Okay. Somewhere we lost inner buoyancy. Let's go ahead and step the left foot back. Perch. Make sure you can easily bend your back knee. You can know it's straight. That's your alignment. Drop that left hand down and out like you're reaching for something. Here we go. We're going to root and rise. Root and rise. Windmill arm. Bring it around. Inhale. Root and rise. Bring it around. Last one. Root and rise. And hang in the most open expression of the pose. Good. Bring that hand down. Turn the other arm up. And we bend into the front knee and then straighten the front knee. Connect the joints. Connect the whole body. Bend the front knee. Straighten the front knee. One more time. Bend. And straighten. Good. Step with the back foot. Big step. Come out of your pose. Back up. Good. Open stance mountain pose. Just shoulders distance apart. Notice, if anything, my lower back feels a little bit overworked in that last one. Like I lost that connectedness. Just see in your own body. Did you lose connectedness? Yeah, like I feel like maybe my low back was just a little overstretched a couple times, and now I can just think about retoning that, reopening, and retoning, bringing the body back together. Let's take the arms out in a Y, capital A. And bring the muscles into the spine on the back body. But makes the front body buoyant and broad and rising. Okay, let's practice our tree pose from this feeling of buoyant rising. You're going to shift. You want to go to the wall, and you put your fingertip on the wall. But if you're buoyant here, you might not need the wall today, or just, we are working on balancing. So if you're going to use the wall, it's the lightest amount of pressure. As you shift into the right foot, bring up the left foot. And then we have to tone our muscular body harmoniously. The whole myofascia works together. And sometimes the mind gets bored. that loses our attention. So you gotta maybe add a little bit of movement, like you're constantly thinking about rooting, rising, broadening, and the pose will start to change shape a little bit. And release it back down. Try to stay open, stay bright inside. Root through your left leg. Pelvis pushes down through your left leg. Bring up your right foot. Rooting, rising. It's okay to use the wall for a little touch, a little bit of awareness. But you can keep feeling. Where in the consciousness can we bring more interconnectedness? Release it. You're going to lift your heels a little bit. Practice bending your knees into the chair pose with the heels lifted, keeping that interconnectedness. So for me, when I bend my knees, I'm going to shift my hips back as I push my hands forward. Just like when we in Warrior 3, we took our toe back to send our fingers forward. Now you take your tail back. Here we go. Heels hover, bend, and buoyantly sink down. Don't land in the joint. The muscles are woven around the joint. Come back up. Drop all the way into the joint. It has to be connected through a tensile strength. Here we go. Bend, drop. You'll find where it's no longer connected. You got to maybe sometimes lift your arch higher, lift your ankle higher, and come out of the pose. Very good. Last one. Stay connected. Come out of the pose. Good work. Please have a quick little water break for yourself. Okay, when you're ready, take a knee, take two knees. Sit on a prop between your heels or sit on the floor between your heels. Good. Give your knees, ankles, toes space. So the torso is buoyant, shoulders open, and back toning. Like to focus on your breathing out, in and out through your nose. As you breathe in and out through your nose, when you inhale, rise and broaden. And when you exhale, root. Just keep feeling what that means in your body. Inhale, rise and broaden. Exhale, root. Inhale, rise and broaden. Exhale, root. Keep feeling it. There's a pulse in your body to this pranayama. Inhale, rise and broaden. More in the side rib. Exhale, root. A few more, just quietly at your own pace. Relax the pranayama. But don't collapse the inner structure, the interconnectedness. Yoga means to join, to unify. The word tantra means to loom or to weave. You think of a practice like this as helping to join yourself, to feel more interconnected. Slowly start to roll down. Maybe resting your forehead or forearms on the earth. Remove the props if you have any. Go ahead and cross your ankles and sit back into a seated posture. If you need to sit on something to keep your spine upright, please add something under your hips. And it's not just about being upright, it's about keeping that low back, interconnecting your hips and ribs. Good. Take your left wrist and put it on your right knee. Take your right hand and stretch it behind you. And now push with your hands, push with your ankles to open. Arch your low back and open into your twist. Good. Come out of it. Take your right wrist, put it on your left knee. Take your left hand, put it behind you, and push through your hands and ankles. Push through your hands and ankles to arch your low back and open into your twist. Come back to center. Good. Pull your belly back and lower down onto your back body. Go ahead and take your knees into your chest. Plant your feet down into the floor. Inhale, roll up into an engaged bridge pose. All the muscles work together. Bring it back down. Do that one more time. All the muscles work together, bridge pose. Bring it back down. Curl, use your core, curl up, grab your left shin with your hands and pull your left shin towards your forehead. Don't try to touch it, don't try to get lost in the joint. Keep the stretch, keep your right toes a part of this pose. Change your legs, hold the right shin. Keep your left toes a part of this pose as you bring the shin and the forehead toward each other. And relax. Roll onto your left side. Reach back with your right hand and hold your right foot. Yeah, good. Now take your left hand and put it out on a diagonal so you can like kind of rest your cheek or crown or your temple on it. Yeah, now use your left fingertips. Kind of stretch out through your left fingertips as you reach back with your right hand and ankle. So it's connected, right? Your back body connects and opens. Yeah, even lift your chin a little bit, part your teeth. Yes, yes. So the whole thing is tactile, or not collapsed onto the floor. Breathe. Even use your left foot. Activate your toes. Yeah, really nice. And release. Just relax now. Everything relaxes together, everything works together. Let's go to the other side. Put out that right arm to help you're going to employ it in the pose. You know, reach back with that left hand, and as you kick with the left side and extend on the left side, you're reaching out with the right side, reaching out with those right toes, probing this like interspatial awareness. Good. Even the throat, the chin opens into the pose. Very nice. Come back to center. All right, so I know we're kind of like chilling, but I want to show fish pose because it is a little bit intense on the neck. It can be intense on the neck, but not if we practice it like what we've been working on all class. So if you don't mind, just please come watch the video for a second and just see what I mean. And then you can decide if you want to try the pose. And if you don't want to try it, I'll give you an alternative. So what you're going to do in your fish pose, I'm going to try to make sure I give you a good view. This camera is, yes, this will work. I'm going to face sideways here. Use your elbows. I'm pushing my elbows down. And when I push my elbows down, I'm going to push my tip of my toes, literally the tips of my toes are going to push down. And what it's going to do is going to use my whole back muscles to lift. And I'm on the back top of my head. That's fine. That's a great place. That's my whole back is engaged. My butt is still on the ground. And we can stay down. When we come out of the pose, we want to use our elbows and our toes to safely release our neck. We never want to put a lot of pressure or body weight on our skull. It means we haven't used the rest of our anatomy And now we're compressing. So let's watch again. I'm gonna press, maybe we'll go a little deeper this time. Press my, no, this time I'll use my heels. I'll push down, lift up, and then slowly lower down. Notice my throat is wide open. And I can stay here actually. Now I can, if I do get my head, you can use it. Use your hips and head to curl and arch. I use my breath to rise and broaden my ribs. When I want to come out of that pose, I'm going to use my elbows again, push them down to gently release. And then once I'm back, I let go. Okay, so I'll lead you through it. You don't even have to let your head touch the ground. You can just use your elbows to bring your head off the ground. And if you're like, you know what? I've had enough interconnected myofascia today. I'm just going to do a bridge pose, and you can practice what feels good to you. Or you can actually do this sitting up or standing. Here we go. Elbows a little wider than your shoulders. Push them down into the earth. Use your tippy toes or your heels. If you walk your feet forward, use your heels instead. And push down, push with your butt, push with your feet, your elbows until your chest and your shoulders arch off of the ground. Yeah, your neck can just be open then. And maybe you put a little pressure on the back of your head, but you don't reach for it. You don't look for it. Called fish pose. Breathe now. Pump your lungs into that broadening feeling. If you start to get tired, you press with the elbows, gently release the head, and sink back down. Good job. No matter which pose you chose, good job. Because first and foremost is the mind needs to be willing. The mind needs to be eager for whatever it's going to partake in. It works like that for all the asana. You cannot unify yourself if the mind doesn't want to do it, whether it's fear or what. Good. Go ahead, put your left leg out, take your right knee up, and you'll twist it to the left. Supine twist, yeah. Supine twist to the second side. Come back to center and just stretch out your limbs. Take up extra space today. Feet apart, arms apart. And you put your arms down. Push the backs of your hands down. Push your heels down a little bit. And just float your ribs for just 1 second. Root and rise. Broaden. And then release the body to gravity. Shavasana. Stretch your form, reach out through all directions. Interconnected movement. Use all of your motion to roll to your side. Take a comfortable seat. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.